Excuse me, I have to put my microphone on. Thank you so much for being here at our County Commission meeting today, Tuesday, October 17th. We have a lot to cover this morning, and without further ado, I would like to ask Rabbi Philip Weintraub and Bishop Gregory Parks to please come up to the podium. And Rabbi Weintraub, if you would deliver your prayer and remarks, and then we'll hear from Bishop Parks, who's Bishop of the Diocese of St. Petersburg.
So first of all, thank you for the opportunity to offer a blessing this morning. In a world that too often is filled with violence and hatred, I do my best to share a message of love and peace wherever I can. Serving at Congregation B'nai Israel of St. Petersburg, which just recently celebrated 100 years in my city, in my county, I have seen the blessings of Pinellas County. I've also seen the challenges, knowing that more than 50% of religious-based hate crimes are committed against the Jewish people. Now I fear those numbers will rise as Israel defends herself against violence and terror. Less than 2 weeks ago, our Sabbath and the holiday where we finished Deuteronomy and begin again with Genesis were interrupted with the news of a music festival turned into a bloodbath, of infants, children, and even Holocaust survivors murdered or kidnapped by Hamas. Today, the terrorist group Hamas still holds more than 200 men, women, and children, refusing them medical care or contact with the Red Cross. And more than 1,200 Israelis were murdered in a span of hours. But the world is quickly turning from support to anger, suggesting Israel has no right to defend herself. You know, that Sabbath, a grim record was set, with more Jews murdered in a single day than any since the Shoah, the Holocaust. Religious groups and governments find it hard to condemn Hamas terrorism, trying to both sides the situation. On a positive note, there were stories of simple heroism, like in the town of Ofakim in southern Israel. A grandmother, Rachel Aderi, managed to keep 5 Hamas terrorists talking for 15 hours before she and her husband were rescued. Her ingenuity was, when they told her they'd kill her, she said, "No, I'm going to make you coffee." And she gave them some cookies and made them breakfast. And 15 hours later, she was rescued with her husband. So I'm grateful to you, to the Pinellas County Commission, for sharing your support of Israel today, for recognizing the pain of your Jewish citizens who are concerned about our well-being here in Pinellas County and around the world. So while Jewish teachings teach me that there is nothing so whole as a broken heart, I pray that all of our hearts will be repaired and will never be so broken again. So a prayer. Avinu Shebashamayim, our parent in heaven, I pray for peace. I pray that every Christian, Muslim, Jew, Hindu, Buddhist, atheist, Sikh, that every human being in this world can raise their children without the threat of violence. I pray that no innocent Palestinian child is forced to be a human shield for a Hamas terrorist. I pray that no Israeli child must run to a bomb shelter with 15 seconds notice to escape a rocket from Hamas or a missile from Hezbollah. I pray that the Armenians and Azerbaijani can work together. I pray for the well-being of the Pakistanis and Indians in Kashmir, that they can learn and grow together. I pray that Russia retreats to her borders and lets the Ukrainian people thrive. I pray that children in our own community can grow up safely, regardless of their faith, their race, their sexuality. I pray that their income does not affect their ability to get an education or have enough to eat. Now, the creation of humanity in the book of Genesis or Bereshit says that God created all of us in the image of the divine. That means that each and every one of us, regardless of our faith, regardless of our race, regardless of our background, has the divine spark. That all of us are inherently holy no matter the choices we make or our family's history. I want to close with words from Rabbi Tamar Elad Applebaum and Shika Ibtsam Mahamid, translated by Rabbi Amichai Lau Levi. A prayer of mothers for life and peace. This is just an excerpt. God of life, who heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds, may it be your will to hear the prayer of mothers, for you did not create us to kill each other, nor to live in fear, anger, or hatred in your world, but rather you have created us so we can grant permission to one another to sanctify your name of life, your name of peace in this world. For you are peace, your world is peace, and all that is yours is peace. and so shall be your will. And we say, Amen. And I'm grateful to share this with our bishop of the Catholic community in St. Petersburg.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And thank you, Rabbi Weintraub. Let us pray. Good and gracious God, we gather here today, seeking your guidance and blessings upon this assembly of the Pinellas County Commission. As we come together as representatives of our community, we humbly invoke your presence and wisdom to guide our deliberations and decisions. We ask for your divine inspiration to lead us in promoting justice, peace in our local communities, and especially in Israel, and prosperity for all residents of Pinellas County. Help us to foster an environment of unity, respect, and understanding, where every voice is heard and valued. Heavenly Father, we also ask for your blessings upon our county's leaders. May they be filled with integrity, compassion, and a genuine desire to serve the people of Pinellas County. Grant them the strength and courage to make decisions that align with your will and bring about positive change. We entrust this meeting and all its participants to your loving care. May our discussions be fruitful and our actions be just. We pray that your grace and peace be upon this county commission, its staff, and all those who call Pinellas County their home. We ask this in your most holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Bishop and Rabbi, if you would please continue to stand up there for just a moment while I come up there. So before I recognize the bishop and the rabbi with a proclamation, perhaps you would all join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So thank you, Rabbi Weintraub and Bishop Parks, for being with us here today. On behalf of the Pinellas County Commission, we want you to know that we stand firmly in solidarity with the state of Israel and its efforts to safeguard its citizens, protect its borders, and ensure the safety of its people. We have prepared a proclamation in support of Israel. If there's anything that this board can do for your community, please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us in these extremely trying times. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Pinellas County Board of County Commissioners that we as a body stand in solidarity with the state of Israel and condemns this unprovoked attack by Hamas against Israel and its citizens, and supports Israel's right to defend itself and protect its citizens from indiscriminate violence and terrorism, and its right to exist as a sovereign and independent nation with the full recognition of its borders and territory, condemns Hamas and calls for Hamas to immediately end the violent attacks and the release of its hostages. And I have the proclamation here, and it's signed by all of us on the county commission, which I will give to Rabbi Weintraub. Thank you again so much for being here on this very sad day. Thank you, Bishop. Lovely to see you both. Thank you. Okay, and the reason I'm standing up here, my dear colleagues, is because I have one more important thing to share. And I would like Barry Burton to come up here, please. So we are presenting you, on behalf of all of my colleagues here, this congratulations award in recognition of your loyal commitment to Pinellas County for the past 5 years. It seems like just yesterday that you started.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, that was not very kind. So we want you to know how much we appreciate all your hard efforts, Barry, and your dedication to Pinellas County. It shines through you every day. And look what I have for you.
Thank you so much.
The Pinellas County pin. So thank you, everyone, for participating. Thank you. Thank you. And now I have the National Community Planning Month proclamation, and I'd like to ask Molly Cord and Ryan Brinson, both of the Housing and Community Development Department, to join me back up at the podium. So I'll come back up there. We're just getting used to doing all of this here over in the Palm Room instead of in our chamber. So you'll forgive me, hopefully, for moving around. Hi. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you for having us.
So the one thing we know is that change is constant and affects all cities, towns, suburbs, counties, boroughs, townships, rural areas, and other places. Community planning can help manage this change in a way that provides better choices for how people work, live, and play. Community planning provides an opportunity for all residents to be involved in making choices that determine the future of their community. Inclusive community planning help advance county priorities, including Homes for Pinellas, Health and All Policies, Safe Streets Pinellas, Economic Development and Sustainability and Resiliency. The full benefits of planning require public officials and citizens who understand, support, and demand excellence in planning and plan implementation. The month of October is designated as National Community Planning Month throughout the United States of America and its territories. The celebration of National Community Planning Month gives us the opportunity to publicly recognize the participation and dedication of the members of the Board of County Commissioners, local planning agency, Board of Adjustment and Appeals, Historic Preservation Board, and other citizen planners who have contributed their time and expertise to the improvement of Pinellas County. We recognize the many valuable contributions made by professional community and regional planners of Pinellas County and extend our heartfelt thanks to the continued commitment to public service by these professionals. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Pinellas County Board of County Commissioners that October 2023 be recognized as National Community Planning Month. So thank you for being here, and here is your oh, excuse me. Here is your proclamation, and it's signed by all of us.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Go ahead, Ryan. You got it.
I just want to take a moment and thank our board for your continued support. We have a fantastic department, a marvelous team, great leadership, and we just want to thank you on behalf of our department.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Do you want us to stand up there? Rabbi? Commissioners, if you wouldn't mind joining me up here, please.
bus and run. I don't think I've sat through a whole city council meeting yet.
You're not missing much.
Here we go. Ready on 3, 2, 1. Give me 1 second. I'm going to take one more. On 3, 2, and perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, one more. It is the Breast Cancer Awareness Month proclamation. I'd like to ask Pinellas County Health Department staff members Valerie Lee, Lisa Field, and Sharon Hagens to join me at the podium. They will be accepting the Breast Cancer Awareness Month proclamation. Hi.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you
I'm
today?
good, and
I
you?
love your sweater.
Thank you, Valerie. I'm the only one here today.
Okay, well, it's lovely to see you, Valerie. In 2022, an estimated 290,560 new cases of invasive breast cancer and more than 51,400 cases of non-invasive breast cancer were expected to be diagnosed in the United States each year, with an estimated 44,000 people losing their lives to metastatic breast cancer. 1 in 8 women in America and 1 in 833 American men will develop breast cancer at some point in their lives, or 1 person every 2 minutes. Considerable progress has been made in the fight against breast cancer, yet it remains the most frequently diagnosed type of non-skin cancer and the second leading cause of cancer deaths among women in Pinellas County. Breast cancer touches so many lives in Pinellas, from our loved ones and friends to our neighbors and co-workers who have survived or lost their lives to breast cancer. Thanks to earlier detection and better treatments, mortality rates for breast cancer have decreased in the last decade. Knowing what may contribute to breast cancer, symptoms, diagnosis, and treatment are important in the case of prevention. Having affordable access to screenings and early detection for all women is an essential component in the fight against breast cancer. The state of Florida recognized the need to provide uninsured low-income women ages 50 to 64 with access to life-saving cancer screenings such as mammography and cervical cancer screenings through its breast and cervical cancer program. The Florida Department of Health and Pinellas County's breast and cervical cancer program completed 982 life-saving screenings in 2022 and was recognized as one of the state's top programs. During National Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October, we stand with our mothers, daughters, grandmothers, and friends in supporting their struggles after a breast cancer diagnosis, as well as recognizing the doctors, nurses, and other health professionals whose care and hard work gives hope to those living with breast cancer. The theme of this year's National Breast Cancer Awareness Month is "No one should face breast cancer alone." We also recognize October as Florida Department of Health and Pinellas County Breast and Cervical Cancer Program Month. So thank you, Natalie, and we're very grateful for your being here today.
Thank you.
Valerie. Okay, colleagues, would you like to join me, please, one more time up here for our photo? So we have 2 employee recognition awards and a video. It's time to celebrate 2 of our outstanding Pinellas County employees with this Employee Recognition Award. For the first award, we'd like to recognize Jacob LeBoy. Is Jacob here today? Hello, Jacob. Good morning. Jacob is an animal cruelty investigator with Animal Services who always goes above and beyond to educate pet owners and protect the animals of our county. We're grateful for your dedication and hard work. And we have a little video, and so let's play that, and then we'll present you your award.
My name is Jacob LeBoy with Pinellas County Animal Services. I'm an animal cruelty investigator, which entails following up on cruelty complaints, animal welfare complaints, and things of that nature. I do animal welfare checks, which basically entails following up to make sure animals are receiving the vet care they would need, make sure they're not tethered, or to make sure they're eating properly. Really and truly, 99% of the calls I run are just education, making sure the public's aware of what the ordinances are that exist and make sure they're following them well.
Jacob came to us from Citrus County. He did a little bit over 5 years there, and he's been with us for over 5 years here. So he has a vast knowledge base in animal cruelty. He will go out of his way to help citizens come into compliance. He just really cares about the citizens of this county with their animals.
Back in January, I was in Sawgrass Lake Park, waiting on some files that my supervisor was delivering to me. At that time, when I got here, a citizen approached me and said, "There's a dog over in the woods. Is that normal? Is she supposed to be there?" At that point, I kind of assessed the situation. I looked at her, tried to call to her, she wasn't moving. So then I went all the way down to the entrance of the park, which is the only clear access to getting into that area.
He contacted me while I was on my way saying that he had chased it into the wooded area. So I met him in that wooded area on the other side of the canal. And the dog came running towards me and was kind of in the middle of both of us. And then that's when it jumped into the water. And she was probably within seconds to a couple minutes of drowning. She was just sitting there dog paddling and there was no way out. So he jumped into the canal and was able to get a leash on her and capture her and get out of the canal.
So I got her back to the shelter where she was assessed to make sure she wasn't, malnourished or there was nothing seriously wrong with her or anything like that, which she came back with pretty good scores, and she was eventually put up for adoption, where a couple that I was able to speak with recently did adopt her, and she's doing great. She's spoiled and well-loved with a good home.
To be in this profession, you have to have a very strong love for animals, to be able to do the things that Jacob did that day and to basically put his life at risk to jump into a canal to save the dog. It takes a very strong-hearted person to be able to do it.
My name is Jacob LeBoy, and I am Pinellas County.
So I just told Jason that he should be really careful about jumping into these canals in Florida. He could have got eaten by an alligator or bitten by a huge snake. Better think about that next time. Okay, so on behalf of the county, Jacob, I would like to thank you, along with all of my colleagues, for your dedication to our animals and present you with this Pinellas County Award recognition. Don't get in the canals anymore. Okay? Barry, do you have a few words to say? Or Jacob, do you?
We'll let Jason speak, but what a rewarding profession, and it's people dedicated like you that go out that every single day and try to investigate. Every case is different, it requires tact. You got to be able to assess that. That's a skill set, and you should be very proud, that you were able to help, so many people in this particular case, save a dog. So, what a great profession, and we just thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want to speak? I do, yes, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for recognizing me. Really appreciate it. I would like to share just a few words. I do see every day as an opportunity to teach, and patience is truly a virtue. I am my brother's keeper, and so are each and every one of you. I'd like whoever these words reach to please talk to your neighbors and check on each other and get a little bit more comfortable with that, because at the end of the day, we are all we have. I am happy to do my part in ensuring the health and safety of Pinellas County, and I know each day I have been effective and made a positive impact. Thank you. Good. I'm going to take one more, please. On 3, 2, and thank you.
Congratulations and thank you.
Our second employee recognition award goes to Krista McFaney Isaacs. Do I have that right? Krista, are you here? Yeah. Well, come on up. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm very well. How about yourself?
Did I say your name right?
It's McElhaney Isaacs.
Oh, we'll see. Look,
That's all right.
it's nice to have you here today. So, Krista, in the quality and planning section, she is the quality and planning section manager for human services. Krista is an effective team leader and a data innovator that supports many of our human services program. We also have a short video about Krista and the work that she does. So let's watch the video.
My name is Krista McElhaney Isaacs. I am the Section Manager 2 in Human Services for Quality and Planning. I do all of the quality improvement and data analytics for Human Services.
We've had a goal in Human Services to really move forward on a data-driven approach, and that takes time, that takes a lot of effort. It also takes a lot of innovation, it takes a lot of creativity. What Krista has been doing is that she has a unique ability to be able to look at the information and understand what that means for the program.
I constantly evaluating the processes in human services to make them more effective and efficient, and also to support our contractual programs by monitoring and tracking the data to make sure that programs are producing the correct outcomes.
The things that she does impact every program that is out there helping different residents in Pinellas County.
We have 2 healthcare programs, Healthcare for the Homeless and Pinellas County Health Program. We also support mental health and behavioral health services, as well as substance use services.
Recently, she did a presentation for the opioid abatement task force, which is looking at how to address opioid funding within the community and where those targeted challenges are. Her efforts on trying to standardize the data process, so we're looking at that as a community, have taken us light years ahead to be able to actually look at that problem and have the information we need to be able to try to help solve that.
My team is extremely important to me. They all bring a very unique set of skills that we have been able to build all of those skills together to have a very high-performing team. When the spotlight might be on me, really the spotlight is on them because they're the ones that are producing.
Krista's not one to take a bow. Krista focuses quite a bit on how her staff are recognized, which I think is an incredible quality in a leader. So she's not just a leader on the projects, but she is a very effective leader for her team.
My name is Krista McElhaney Isaacs, and I am Pinellas County.
So, Krista, on behalf of the county and all of my colleagues, I want to thank you for your hard work in support of our residents and present you with the Pinellas County Employee Recognition Award. There you go. Barry?
Well, Commissioners, you've seen firsthand the work that our Human Services staff do at really taking information and data and drilling down to where we get programs that help people pinpointed where our resources need to go. It doesn't occur without the type of work that you and others do of really making the most of limited resources. And it's all about helping people, which is what the end result is. And I'm just so grateful for all their efforts. So thank you.
Just really 2 shout outs. I just want to thank God for keeping me upright every day. And I also want to thank the distinguished group of people I get to work next to and uncommon thinkers. Thank you.
So, Commissioners, can we get our photo with Krista, please? Okay, now we have our citizens to be heard. And first, I would like to ask Diane Daniel, please come forward. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Diane Daniel. I live in Indian Rocks Beach. I've lived on and off in Pinellas County since I was a teenager. I really have enjoyed this meeting so far. It's been really motivational. I'm here because I wanted to introduce you to my nonprofit. It's called Vacation Donations. I launched it this year. We have in Pinellas County about 13,000, give or take, vacation rentals, active listings. And what I've learned from being around the beach and having a part-time vacation rental myself is that they're very different from hotels in that they have kitchens. People fly in. They often do their food shopping online before they even get here, and they have it delivered to them. And then when they fly home, they have a lot of food left over, and it often gets thrown away. And leaving it for the cleaner is not really a solution, because unless the cleaner has a refrigerator in their car, they're not going to be able to collect all these things. So they also buy a lot of beach gear, coolers, styrofoam coolers that don't break down, and a lot of other gear, toys. And as you no doubt know, Pinellas County has a zero waste to landfill goal for 2050. That means to reduce waste, and that is really what I want to do, is reduce waste in vacation rentals. And the food waste, of course, is very critical because that food can go to other people. So what I have is, and I'm really just want to introduce you to it, hope that it stays in your mind. I've also given brochures that hopefully will get to you, is my website has specific donation resources for Indian Rocks Beach and Indian Shores. So that's really just for that community. And it's giving food to the pantries, and we also have a leave a toy, take a toy bins on the beaches where people can leave toys. What I also hope to do is host for free other communities. We have 24 municipalities. Many of them have short-term rentals, vacation rentals, is host resources for all these municipalities. And one of the things I have is my refrigerator mag is stuck to the podium here. It's refrigerator magnets for rentals. I have a lot of tips for owners, vacation rental owners, for travelers, for community members. So what I really want to see is this food getting to people that can use it. I had a very short food drive, just myself, at one building when people were checking out on one Saturday. For 2 hours, I got 28 bags of food unopened that I gave to the pantry. So thank you for your time. I hope you'll spread the word.
Thank you, Diane. Very informative. Next is, I'm not sure I have this correct, but it's Mei Lee, and I couldn't even. Kuiper? Kuipers. Good morning.
Commissioners, staff, my name is Millie Kuipers. I live in Largo off Indian Rocks Beach. I've been a veterinarian in Pinellas County for over 25 years. I'm currently in private practice as an internist, but I have worked in a shelter medicine. I am shocked and appalled at the announcement that Largo-based SPCA has been considering getting involved in a partnership with Sunshine Puppies, which is a retail store that sells puppies in Largo, and Pinnacle Pets, which is one of the largest brokers of puppies in the country. In June 2022, this commission voted to prohibit any new stores from selling puppies and kittens. This commission, however, elected to grandfather the 6 existing stores that were currently selling puppies in the country, one of which is Sunshine Puppies. With this new program, the Largo shelter will now accept retired breeding stocks from out-of-state commercial facilities and imperfect puppies, and from those puppies coming from pet stores, and adopt them to the public for a hefty fee. This type of arrangement is the antithesis of what animal sheltering and rescuing should be about, especially when one considered that Florida is one of the top 5 states euthanizing adoptable dogs. Pinellas County and Florida shelters are overcapacitated, overpopulated. Unusually high numbers of homeless dogs come in every day. I've heard the argument that only breeders and pet stores can provide specific breed. I will say that through the year, I personally have had 1 bulldogs, 2 short hair pointers, 3 wieners, a pug, as well as a Brittany, none of which came from a pet store, all of which came from a shelter or a rescue situation. This is a devastating situation, a devastating decision from SPCA Tampa Bay, a decision that has been condemned by a multitude of Pinellas County shelters, as well as the Humane Society of the United States. I would hope that this preposterous move be condemned by leaders like you, if not for the animal cruelty aspect, for the additional burden this will place on Pinellas County Animal Services. I beg this commission to give support to unequivocal opposition to selling dogs and cats in all retail stores, as well as to push Tallahassee for a statewide ban on such a practice. Do something now. There's just not enough home for them all. Thank you.
Thank you. Andrea Wells.
Madam Chair, Andrea Wells, I believe, is joining us by phone. Ms. Wells, if you can hear us, can you please press *9 to unmute? Ms. Wells, can you hear us? Please press *9 to unmute, Ms. Wells. Ms. Wells, can you hear us?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Ms. Wells, please proceed.
Okay. Good morning. I'm here to speak on the need to end the intake agreement between the Pinellas County Animal Services and the SPCA. We're calling to not be subjected to an agreement with an organization whose practices have been condemned by the Humane Society of the United States, PETA, Best Friends Animal Society, League of Humane Voters, Florida Voices for Animals, Florida Leaguers in Life Saving, Florida Association of Animal Welfare Advocates, Humane Society of Tampa Bay, Humane Society of Pinellas, Pet Pal Animal Shelter, Friends of Strays, SPCA Brevard, and the SPCA Tampa Bay itself vehemently opposed the practices it's now engaging in until it found a way to profit off of it. The intake agreement in place asserts a mutual benefit, yet benefit to the citizenry is unidentifiable. Forgive me. Bundling of dogs off of public record to an organization which has been deemed untrustworthy by leaders in its own field is not of benefit to us. The For All Dogs initiative declares quality pets from great breeders. Non-quality pets from backyard breeders, which they killed over 1,000 of last year, off of public record, need be addressed. The public, by way of agreement, cannot be unwittingly proxy and forced to legitimize bad practices. Or being a party to the SPCA's ulterior motives for this profit madness. We need to abolish the agreement. Wars of good and evil are being played out all across the world. The buck stops with you in this one here. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Don Coker.
Hello, I'm Don Cocker from 9170 Robin Road, that's unincorporated Seminole. I too have a dog from the dog control, which I'm not here to talk about, but it's a good dog too. Anyway, this week on the news there was an article about school in South St. Pete that there was 50-some kids that are at that school that are homeless. And these people were giving them uniforms. Some group got together and bought them uniforms. Well, I'd like to know, where are they going to hang them uniforms? They're homeless. Thing is, we've got people like this lady over here that are buying up these homes and making short-term rentals out of them, and we need to stop that from proliferating. The idea that people come and go every day sometimes. There's one across the street from me, and I have had no trouble with it. So I'm not complaining about that. I'm just saying people need homes that are affordable, and affordable homes are homes that people with low incomes can afford. And I've seen homes talked about here before that were $1,500, $2,000 as affordable homes. I have a rental house and I get 20 calls a week trying to buy it, and a lot of them have Asian accents. Now, on the other hand, I wanted to talk about the money that you're probably going to give to the baseball team to build a stadium. We've got people paying $6 to park their boat at a boat ramp. I've been told that it can be $3 to $5 to park your car at some of the beaches. We've got certain recreation for certain people, like bicycle trails and stuff, but there's no place to ride your dirt bike. There's guys riding dirt bikes by my house, and in the last year, a guy literally was blasting down a sidewalk and ran into the side of a car, and nobody, the highway patrol guy coming, he said he was going to alert the sheriff. Well, I didn't hear nothing from any sheriff. The guy took off, and I'm standing there next to him. I said, if you leave, that's hit and run. These people need some place to ride at. Some place like the old Toy Town landfill would be a perfect place for that. We've got other activities. They could ride other vehicles out there. There could be lots of other uses for that money instead of giving it to a ball team. We've got a perfectly good stadium. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Coker. David Ballaghettis Jr.
Hi, good morning, Commissioners. David Ballard Geddes Jr., Georgia Avenue, Palm Harbor. The residents of Pinellas County were told that the Pinellas County Home Rule Charter began in 1980, which is not true. Pinellas County Charter Section 2.04P sheds light on an existing and future interlocal agreement, which brings into focus the Interlocal Cooperation Act of 1969 in Statute 163.01. Recognizing such existing interlocal agreement, the county charter is based in Chapter 163 of the Florida statutes in support of an interlocal compact stemming from 1969. Statute 163.01 states the purpose of the Interlocal Cooperation Act is to create a separate legal entity, a jurisdiction of such, that has been given rights to exercise powers of eminent domain, intent on privatizing government through local downtown redevelopment zones recognized in Statute 163.45 as enumerated in Statute 163.410, enacting jurisdictional powers as enumerated in Section 2.01 of the Charter in recognition of the enumeration clause of Article 1, Section 2 of the U.S. Constitution, stemming from 236 years ago. The enumeration of such privatized downtown redevelopment zones and their jurisdictional powers of eminent domain, as recognized in both the county charter and Chapter 163, stemming from Article 1, Section 2 of the U.S. Constitution, is relative to directly taxing the civilian population, which bases the jurisdiction of the 14th Amendment and its so-called due process clause of making such privatized downtown jurisdictional redevelopment zones. The blighted and slum-like conditions basing today's reasoning for downtown redevelopment zones is recognized as far back as 1977, 46 years ago, in Statute 16357. The need to rehabilitate downtown was recognized 46 years ago and was deliberately neglected as an objective to help aid and abet in the formulation of privatization of these downtown redevelopment zones. And I feel as though this
Thank you, David. Your time
county
is up.
charter is part of a carpetbagging. Thank you.
All right, members, we are now on our public hearing, section number 6, Countywide Planning Authority. Oh my gosh, how did I forget you, David? Come on up. Sorry about that.
Greg Pound, Largo. I just want to read a couple things out of the Bible. This comes out of Matthew chapter 22, verse 29. It says, Jesus, Yeshua, answered and said unto them, Ye do err, not knowing the scripture. Then Isaiah chapter 9, verse 16 says, For the leaders of this people cause them to err, and they that are led of them are destroyed. So we always have to try to get the best and the brightest we can in positions of leadership if we're going to have a good country. You know, as I sat here and listened to some of the things, one is the breast cancer issue. If you women want to keep your breasts, get off birth control because that's where your problem is. Just study. It's there for the public to read. You're putting all the young girls on birth control the minute they start their period, and it's a shame what you're doing. And you know, and so I mean, if you're not going to have children. You know, I mean, that's why God created breasts, was so you could feed your babies. I mean, it's real common. It's just the way it is. And the other issue, Jacob said, am I my brother's keeper? You know, I've watched on my street ministry here in Largo and in St. Pete, one person after another die from fentanyl. We had one guy, his sister died from fentanyl. He knew the guy who was selling the fentanyl, had 70 grams of it, went to the sheriff's department, gave the information, all the documentation, everything, and the guy never was arrested. He was peddling 70 grams of fentanyl on the street, right off the corner of Almerton and Starkey Road, on the railroad tracks where all those people were, you find them dead. I mean, I've got my neighbors, I mean, one right after another of young people. I mean, I can't even count them. I can take you to their families. I can bring people in here and testify they were there when they died. And so I call it street cleaning. You're cleaning up the society. You know, you separated, you destroyed the family. Biggest dollar in the U.S. court system is family court. Once you destroy the family, you got the father, the mother, the children stuck in the system. It's called cooperative agreement contracts for federal dollars coming into the state in the sum of billions of dollars, billions coming in the state of Florida for one purpose, that's to destroy the family, separate the children from their fathers. And then the Respital deal that they put all the children, all the male children on drugs because the feminist school teachers couldn't deal with boys jumping up and down because of their male testosterone. They couldn't deal with it, so they said, we want these children, we got to put them on some kind of a drug, and they had drugged all the male children in this country. And you can read it and see this. This isn't something that's, I'm not making this stuff up. I just study and follow it and see what's happening. And this is what we've done to our own people. Our own children. This is what we're doing to the men, to feminize the men, destroy the family, and now we have no children. 50 children, no place to live in
Your
St.
time
Pete.
is up. Thank you. All right, now we are on agenda number 5, the Countywide Planning Authority.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Agenda item number 5 is case number CW 2308. This is a proposal by the City of St. Petersburg to amend the countywide plan map from office to multimodal corridor regarding a .79 acre property located at 118 66th Street North. The public hearing was properly advertised and an affidavit of publication has been received for filing. No correspondence has been received by the clerk, and the matter is properly before the authority to be heard.
Commissioners, what is your will?
I just had one quick question on the item.
Go ahead. Morning, Rodney.
And this is just from my memory. I think it was 4, 5, 6 years ago, I remember seeing an advertisement for a townhome development on this property. And I was just wanted to really just clarify if my memory was correct, if that was there, and what the process has been to get us to this point today.
Good morning, Rodney Chapman, Division Manager for Pinellas. Commissioner, I'm not aware of that sign from years ago, but yes, this amendment would facilitate a townhome project on the property. The number of units is still up for discussion, but the City of St. Pete staff has told us it's somewhere between 12 to 19 units.
Thank you.
Move approval.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please designate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now we are on number 7, and before we take up 7,
Sorry, Commissioner,
Madam-
6.
oh, that was fine. I'll get my glasses fixed. Number 6, Madam Clerk.
Madam Chair, thank you. Agenda item number 6 is case number CW 2309. This is a proposal by the City of Largo to amend the county-wide plan map from industrial to employment regarding 1.39 acres of property located at 9216 Ulmerton Road. The public hearing was properly advertised and an affidavit of publication has been received for filing. No correspondence has been received by the clerk, and the matter is properly before the authority to be heard.
Thank you. Questions? Comments? What is the will of the board?
Move approval.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please designate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Now we are on 7, and before we take up 7, Chris Self has a comment that she would like to make. Good morning.
Good morning. It's nice to see some old familiar faces in here. My name is Chris Self. I'm from St. Pete Beach. I am an avid sailor and a responsible boat owner, as well as a community organizer in the sailing community. I've been asked to speak on behalf of Seven Seas Cruising Association. I am in support of this responsible anchoring ordinance that you're putting into place. I have 2 points that I would like to make about this, though. First of all, I want to make sure we all understand that there's a difference between active cruisers and derelict boats. And all the active cruisers that I've spoken to think this is a very fair ordinance, and it's very doable. And second of all, I kind of wish you would apply this to Boca Ciega Bay and Tierra Verde and Isla del Sol, Longboat Key, but that's another county. All the good anchorages can't be used by those of us that are active cruisers because they're full of derelict boats. So yes, we think this is a good thing. My second point is that I would like to ask for you to implement a pump-out boat. Because even though the active cruisers are going to be restricted to 45 days, they're still going to need to be able to get rid of their waste. Having a pump-out boat will accomplish that goal, and it will help keep track of how many boats have been there for how long. If you need to know how to do this, contact the City of Gulfport. They have this. I think that this is great and would like to support it going forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Questions, comments, concerns, anything? What? Commissioner Scott?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a question, and I think I already know the answer to this, but just want to confirm. This doesn't in any way affect
paddleboarding or kayaking or any other kind of recreational activity in these areas, correct?
No. Yeah, that's correct.
I would move approval.
Okay, it's been moved and approved. All those in favor, please designate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Now we are on consent. Does anyone have anything to remove?
Madam Chair, I'd like to pull item number 19 just for clarity.
19, let's pull 19. Can we move forward with the rest of the agenda? We'll come. Okay, it's been moved and approved. Oh, second? It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please designate by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, back to number 19, Commissioner Flowers.
Yes, if I just have a question just for clarity, please.
Go ahead, what's the question?
I was waiting until they got there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Under section E, page 7 of the response, the RFP proposal from 3GIS, they talk about the integration of services, and should there be any need for integration of services, there will be no consideration for charges if their equipment could talk and already work with our equipment. But when you go further into, when you're on page 8, it kind of says something differently. It talks about the layering capabilities to allow companies to incorporate information from a multitude of sources, and that if that is done, it may require some additional financial resources. So I'm just trying to check to make sure I'm understanding what those two components are, if I am confusing them, or please.
Sure, Commissioner. Dana Zordan, BTS. Do you have anything else? Yeah. Okay, good.
How you doing? Greg Caro. The first part you're talking about has to do more of the technology and integrations in the products, and the others have to do with some level of service.
Okay.
So if there's more contents or content that needs to be added, that's different than the integration of the technologies.
And the reason I'm asking is because I serve on BTS along with my fellow colleagues, Commissioner Long and Commissioner Peters, and I know we've gone through a very long process at trying to look at our total system, upgrade in the areas that need to be upgraded, assuring that they can connect one to another, enhance and increase our cyber protection services, uploading to the cloud so that we can always pull down. I just want to make sure that whatever we're doing folds right into that, and that we not implement this whole new system and then we find out, oh, units aren't talking to each other. So that's my reason.
I feel very confident that this solution will meet our needs and out front, so I don't feel like there should be any concern.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Commissioner.
Those are my only questions. Thank you, Madam Chair.
And
I move approval of the item.
thank you. It's been moved and seconded. We're on item 19. All those in favor, please designate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Now we're moving to the regular agenda, item number 20. Barry?
Item 20 is the First Amendment to an interlocal agreement. This is for the operation of the Pinellas Public Library Cooperative. This is a 5-year agreement, and it's supported by the MSTU for the 2 libraries in North County.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All
Madam
those-
Chair, I'm sorry, who was the first and the second? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. All those in favor, please designate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we've taken care of that. And now, okay. Number 21.
This is NMSTU for Feather Sound. This is for installation of landscaping improvements to the community medians and $20,000.
Move approval.
Do we have a second on that? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please designate by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Now we are on number 22.
This is our local arts agency funding agreement with Creative Pinellas for marketing and promotions, and it includes carryover funds of the cultural plan and increase for salaries. that was programmed in the budget.
Move approval.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please designate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. 23.
It's a grant award with U.S. Department of Justice for DNA capacity enhancements for our forensic laboratory, $329,000 over 2 years. There's no match required for this grant.
Thank you. Any questions? Commissioner Scott.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It says that this was not expected nor included in the fiscal year 2024 budget. Will we need to do a budget amendment, and will this be offsetting any costs, any monies that we were going to spend?
Yeah, you'll have to bring back a budget amendment? Okay, yes. That'll be a follow-on item then.
Okay. Will it be offsetting any money that we were going to spend? Or? It will, okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns from the board? Okay, may I have a motion or a second?
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please designate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 24. Barry?
It's a contract for sale and purchase. This is the Gray Oaks property.
Any?
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Justice, second by Commissioner Scott. All those in favor, please designate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Number 25, Barry.
It's a boundary line agreement with the Board of Trustees of the Internal Improvement Trust Fund of the State of Florida for seawall enhancements, for the seawall enhancement projects at Philippi Park. There's no fiscal impact. This just defines a common boundary line.
Okay. Any questions?
Move approval.
It's been moved by Commissioner Flowers,
Second.
second by Commissioner Scott. All those in favor, please designate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 26, Barry.
First Amendment to a contract for professional engineering services with DRMP for the 13th Street Bridge Replacement Project and with Kissinger, Campo and Associates for Madonna Boulevard Bridge Replacement.
And this money is to be spent in 2024, correct?
Yeah, this is actually an amendment to include water and sewer utility work as part of that project.
Okay. Any questions, concerns? It's been moved by Commissioner Peters,
Second.
second by Commissioner Scott. All those in favor, please designate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, number 27, Barry?
This is an interlocal agreement with the City of Clearwater for the implementation of the anchoring limitation area for Mandalay Channel within city boundaries. This just establishes the interlocal agreement for them to enforce the agreement.
Been moved by Commissioner Peters, second by Commissioner Flowers. All those in favor, please designate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, number 28.
It's a locally funded agreement and three-party escrow agreement with Florida Department of Transportation for the design and construction of a new bridge on Ridgemore Boulevard at Booker Creek Bridge.
Excuse me.
Questions, concerns?
Move approval.
Commissioner Eggers?
Tom?
Yeah, so we're contributing, FDOT's contributing, FDOT managed project, and we're responsible for all cost overruns? I'm not sure I understand that.
That is correct, but I'll let Tom clarify that.
Good morning, Tom Washburn, Public Works Transportation. That's correct, Commissioner Eggers. The way the agreement is set up is we have a cost estimate for design and construction. We contribute a certain amount for the design and for the construction. The DOT covers 60% of the cost. And the way the agreement is set up is it's a county bridge on a county facility, so we would be responsible for any overruns.
So that assumes that the scope stays the same, right?
Correct.
So if the scope is changed, there'll be an amendment that comes back as to who pays for the changes.
Correct. And it also gives us a clause that if there is a cost overrun, we have the option at that point to remove ourselves from the contract.
Okay. Keep a close eye on another bridge project. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner Eggers. Any other concerns or questions?
Move approval.
It's been moved by Commissioner
Second.
Scott and second by Commissioner Flowers. All those in favor, please designate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, number 29, Barry.
Commissioners, the next two items is what I think Kelly discussed with you individually. This is a request for a public hearing to appeal the issuance of a county dock permit at Passaway Grill in St. Pete Beach.
Yeah.
Jill?
Good morning, Jill Silverboard, County Administration. Could you please repeat the question? I couldn't hear.
Why are we
I was
doing it?
just questioning why we're appealing it.
No,
We're not?
So it's not us. I'll let the county attorney answer the
If I can
question.
interject just briefly, these two items, it's a quirk from your old water navigation code that when, not the county, but another party, which is usually going to be the owner or potentially a neighbor, if they wish to appeal a dock permit determination, the item first comes to you to decide whether you would like to have a full-blown public hearing to hear that appeal. So this is the stage you're at right now. You're just deciding whether you would like to have a public hearing and allow that full-blown appeal by the various appellants on these cases move forward. And again, this is a quirk from the old special act from the 1950s is why you see it this way.
And Madam Attorney, did you also say this references item number 30 as well?
Correct.
Yes. These are both neighbors.
Yeah, Madam Chair, if I could clarify. So the county has issued permits in each of these cases, and it is the appeal being made by another party that we issued the permit in error. So if you choose to hold the public hearing, then it's going to be a discussion of whether that is accurate. You're going to be the judge and jury in that respect. Did staff issue the permit correctly, or is the appeal going to stand?
Got it. So my question. So my question. So my question, and now that you said that, Jewel, I don't know if it's appropriate or not, so you'll tell me if it's not appropriate. Did the staff make an error?
We don't think so. We have stood by our permit issuance in each of these cases, and, you know, a lot more detail, obviously. But that's the reason it's before you, is because staff is defending the issuance, and the appeals have to be decided by you as to whether you're going to, one, schedule the hearing, or two, if you do, then you'll hear from both sides in a quasi-judicial.
Okay, thank you. Did you have something
Well,
to say?
yeah, just to be clear, so staff, and I'm looking back at Melanie, but staff reviewed the permit request. They believe it met all of the requirements, and they reviewed and approved that permit, okay? It is a neighbor that doesn't feel as though that permit was issued correctly. So that's what they're appealing to you to hold a public hearing on that. And so it's your determination of whether or not you want to hold that public hearing or not.
Okay, I see you, Commissioner Eggers. Hold on one moment, please. Commissioner Justice?
Thank you. I think when all of us have mics on, not all, you can't add more mics on, that's why some of the mics aren't working. I think in the 10 years, we've heard one of these that I remember, but it was when the county denied the permit, and it was the actual property owner who had filed for the permit that was asking for the public hearing. In this case, it's neighbors who don't like that are we going to hear it today from the appellants, or is today simply a yes or no to have that hearing?
Yes or no to have the hearing?
Without any, I mean, there was like a sentence in there of what their concern was aired in one, and the other one was about a view or something else. But that's all the information we have to make a decision about to hold the public hearing. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
And to your point, Commissioner Justice, we have a citizen who has asked to speak on item 30, but since they are related, it seems appropriate to ask them to speak now.
Well, and just for clarification, these are two different docks, two different permits. So they're related in as much as they're similar subject matter, but they're two separate permits. So I would recommend taking them up individually.
Got it. Commissioner Eggers.
If you could, on item 29, maybe tell us, since we're going to talk about that one first, could you tell us the primary reason that they're asking for it, just so we're clear?
Sure. So our division director, Melanie Weed, is here, and I'm going to ask her to come up. She's very familiar with these, and I don't know if, you do have a map in the backup, I believe, for this item that is helpful to see where we issued the permit and then where I think in this case, there's actually two properties that are appealing our permit issuance.
Thank you, Jill. Good morning, everyone. Melanie Weed with Public Works Environmental Management. I also have with me Julie Sims, who is our Water and Navigation Manager, who has the details of the case specifically.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Julie Sims. For this one, there were actually several sections of the code that the appellant laid out in their appeal letter. So just to give you a few of them, the first one was 58-535, and that section provides direction as to how to conduct public hearing processes and noticing, but does not contain any language about which applications will go to hearing. The appellant discussed the proximity of the proposed structure to other marinas in the area and about noticing, basically. And I don't know how much you want me to go into these different sections. There were quite a few. There wasn't just one particular thing that they were objecting to.
Excuse me one second. So the applicant is for a multi-use property, multifamily, and was for 6 slips. And so part of what we understand to be the objection, based upon what's been filed, is the nature of a 6-slip structure when they are, basically single slip properties. One of the challengers or the appellants actually owns a vacant lot that is just across a right-of-way from the property that applied for the permit. So it's, our position is that we followed the code in issuing the permit for the 6 slips, and obviously these neighbors don't agree.
Is this the only place along in this whole area that has multiple slips?
I have a map, if you'll give me 1 second.
Okay, I'd like to hear,
Yeah, there aren't many in the picture, folks, but boy, I've been there on weekends and
Yeah, there are various facilities out there with various slips.
in this area?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Commissioner Justice.
Thank you. Just to make sure I was reading it right, on the attachment on the agenda item, the comments in red were staff comments or the appellant comments on the appeal?
I don't think I have a copy of that. I don't have the agenda.
Our copy is all black and white, Commissioner. I'm not sure which comments you're referring to.
Are you talking about the appeal letter from?
It's the petition for hearing is the first line on the first page. It's an 8-page document. And you go to page 2, we submit the permit was issued in error for the following reasons, yet then there's red lines there. I just want to make sure the red is ours, the county staff response or comments along the way. All right, thank you. Just want to make sure.
Anything else from the commissioners? No? Commissioner Scott?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Was there anything Was anything we did in our process legally deficient?
No, sir. We followed our normal process for this approval.
Anybody else? Commissioner Peters?
I'll move approval to move forward.
So you're moving forward, you want to have a full hearing, is that what you're saying?
I'm moving an approval for the request for a public hearing, yes.
Yeah, okay. Is there a second?
Second, they were saying her mic. Yeah.
Commissioner Eggers?
Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm clear. The code allows for this. The process was clean. There are other areas, there are other docks in this area that have multiple slips. I'm just trying to make sure I understand the rationale for a hearing. Again, I'm all about giving people opportunities, but I'm just not sure, is there anything in there that we have concerns about that as far as the process, about code, about the area and all of that, so.
No.
Okay, thank you.
It's an antiquated provision, as the county attorney pointed out. If you do approve this motion to schedule the hearing, it would be December 12th is the date.
There's been a second for the motion, correct?
Correct.
All those in favor of the motion, say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
No.
3 noes, 4 ayes. Did I have that right? Okay. So we will move forward with the public hearing. Okay? Thank you. All right, now on to item 30.
Commissioners, item 30 is basically the same thing. You do have a speaker on this.
All right. Comments, concerns?
Don't go too far, guys, okay? Yes.
Questions?
Yeah.
We do have a citizen that wishes to be heard on this item, Edward Cole. Good morning.
Morning, members of the board. My name is Edward Cole. I'm an attorney here in Palm Harbor, here on behalf of Brian and Lori Meyerbeck. They are the permit applicant's neighbor to the immediate south. We have objected to Water Navigation's issuance and the permit. This basically addresses a misinterpretation of Ordinance 58-544, and we are requesting a quasi-judicial hearing on this matter. We have filed a variety of documents in support of our appeal on this matter. But as a quick overview, basically, this begins with your Ordinance 58-555, which deals with dock setbacks for residential properties. Effectively, it's based on the amount of seawall footage that you have, and you have the center 1/3 rule, where ideally, in the typical case, a homeowner will put their dock and boat lift in the center 1/3 of their property. So if they've got 100 feet of seawall, it would be in the center 33 feet. It's a very sensible ordinance in that the dock would only obstruct their view of the water. But the bottom line in this particular case, the importance of it to my clients is basically that what Mr. Donovan has done, the neighbor, he's making every effort to maintain a completely wide open view of the Intracoastal Waterway at the detriment of my clients, basically placing it as far south as possible. Is it possible to use visual aids? Not in this one? Okay. There are some pictures in the file, basically, which show, there's file images that essentially show the near total obstruction of my client's view based on the boat they're proposing to put in. Oh, I can. That's essentially the view when my clients bought the property in 2015. That's taken from my client's back deck, and you can see the wave runner on a small lift. This is what the applicant's trying to get approved, and the permit has approved. That's taken from my client's living room. Quite a difference, a very big difference, a nearly total obstruction of the view, hence the importance of this. There is a history to this. Previously, there was a variance that was granted. Madam Chairman, may I request an additional 3 minutes to complete this?
No, I'm sorry, but we got your point, I believe.
Okay, thank you.
Could I
Thank
ask
you.
him a question before he steps down?
Hold on, Commissioner Eggers.
So I'm looking at a drawing that shows one end of the dock 35 feet from a property line, and the looks like the distance from your client's property is 21 feet. So you're suggesting that it's not in the middle?
Very much so. In fact, what the permit grants is it places the dock and boat lift 4.79 feet from my client's property line, 40 or 50 feet from the other neighbor's property line. It is literally on top of the border and obstructing the view. And based on the alignment of the homes, they're sort of aligned to the northwest, so that the placement of the dock and boat lift on the south side further exacerbates the impact on their view.
Thank you.
And
Thank
so,
you.
Mr. Cole, just to be clear and to make sure I'm understanding, I think I am, you're advocating for a public hearing on this issue, correct?
That's correct. We basically think it's an extremely novel situation.
Got it.
There are multiple permits, and I've had conversations with the county attorney's office regarding the particular section of code, 58-44. It's very unusual. We think it involves issues of law, and we would request a public hearing. And previously, the history on this was a variance was granted by the Board of Adjustments that my clients appealed, and in a unanimous opinion, the circuit court reversed 3-0, basically striking a very similar boat dock.
Got it. Okay, thank you so much. Commissioner Peters has a comment.
So I'm looking at the map, the vicinity map, and it looks like your client's dock is not in the center of their seawall.
My client's dock and boat lift partially exceed the center 1/3. The bulk of it is in the center of the property.
Right.
They did obtain written consents, which is the procedure on variances from both neighbors back when that was constructed. If you also look at if you're looking at a broader view, you can see how it doesn't impact the neighbor's view to the south. And in the instant case with Mr. Donovan, he was unable to secure the consent of either of the neighbors. My clients are not opposed to the construction of a dock. They could reconstruct what they have, or water navigation during the 2021 Board of Adjustment hearing strongly recommended that the boat lift be placed on the north side of the dock. So we're not the party of no. We're trying to work with them as much as possible. But as you can see by the second picture I put up, there is a nearly complete elimination of their waterfront view.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Cole.
Thank you, everyone.
Katie? Morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Katie Cole with the law firm of Hill Ward Henderson, representing Dr. and Mrs. Donovan, who are the permit recipients. Candidly, this morning, I'd simply ask that you strike all of that from the record. This was a procedural hearing. It is not yet the quasi-judicial process for you to have any substantive consideration of the permit issuance. This has been going on since 2001, when the Donovan's boat dock was first constructed. It was destroyed in a storm, and since 2020, the Donovans have attempted to rebuild the boat lift and dock as it was constructed in 2001 with the length extension that was granted by your Board of Adjustment. We understand that you're inclined to hold this permit review hearing, while we would think that it's unnecessary based on the very extensive file, the back and forth between the Donovans and the staff, the very specific interpretation of the code that the staff has held the Donovans to based on the Board of Adjustment file, and the circuit court opinion. We understand you may be inclined to do that, but certainly appreciate you're ignoring 100% of the presentation that you just heard, which was substantive in nature and not appropriate for this morning. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions, concerns, comments? Commissioner Scott?
Again, just, was there anything legally deficient in the county's process to get this done? No? No, thank you.
Question.
Commissioner Eggers?
And I'm assuming that what was just said, this was a rebuild based on what was there before?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Is it a reconstruction based on what was there before, what was allowed before?
The newest revision permit that was issued was for some new structure to be built as well, the extension that was granted a variance by the BOA.
Madam Attorney, it may be me, but I am uncomfortable moving forward with this discussion, given the comments that you have made with regard to the fact that potentially we are moving towards a quasi-judicial hearing. And between your comments and those of Katie Cole, I have further concerns about any further discussions, answering questions, and/or entertaining the subject matter. Is it just me, or what would you advise?
Well, you are here at a public meeting, and you need to have a valid basis upon which to determine whether or not to move forward. So I'm not as concerned, but I do agree it's not really appropriate to get into the substance of everything that may have gone on throughout the history, but really to make a determination as to whether you think what you've heard warrants having further discussion.
And therein is my point. Thank you. So can we, I think we're finished with you for the moment, but could we agree that we table this discussion and see whether or not there is a desire on the part of the county commission to move forward on this issue as well with a public hearing? Yes or no? Is that appropriate? Yeah. Okay. What are the wishes of the board?
I'd like to have a hearing on this one.
Me too.
So I move that we move to a public
Is
hearing.
that a motion?
Yes.
I second that, yeah.
It's been moved and seconded that we move forward with a public hearing. All those in favor, please designate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. I see Jill coming to the podium.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to point out that the public hearing on this particular case would also be on December 12th.
Duly noted. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll move forward to a public hearing on that item as well. And now we are on 31.
Yes, 31 is amendment number 1 to a joint project agreement with the city of Bel Air Bluffs. Basically, during construction of water main improvements, they found additional corroded pipes that need to be added to the project.
Ben, do we have a second on 31?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please designate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that passes. Number 32, emergency medical services.
This is an amendment to the Advanced Life Support First Responder Agreements with 12 municipalities and independent fire districts. This establishes the budget and adds the specific enhancements that was both budgeted and identified in your packet.
Move approval.
Do we have a second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Commissioner Eggers?
Just a quick question. A 10% increase, is it primarily due to the 4 specific enhancements that are shown here?
No, I asked both Dave and Craig to come up.
Good morning. I'm Dave Hare, the Deputy Director for Safety and Emergency Services, and with me is Craig Hare, no relation, but he's the Director of EMS and Fire Administration and can answer those questions.
Good morning. So Craig here, Safety and Emergency Services. It's based upon the submitted budgets. It is in the staff report where it brings you through which are over the 3%, which requires an amendment and approval by the board. And then I don't have the specific percentage, but the enhancements on this one is primarily Squad 36 with Pinellas Park.
So is that, my question was, are these enhancements that are listed here the bulk of the increase that you're all, of the 10%?
The submitted budget is the bulk of the increase.
Yes.
The submitted enhancements?
Yes.
The enhancements are included, but
The enhancements are included. The budget's over 3% is the bulk of the increase. And those are based
in other
on
words,
the.
so in the submitted budget, each of the 12 municipal fire districts and independent fire districts had a budget. That amount encompasses the 10.4%. That also includes the enhancements that are below. So it's a combination of both.
And I was asking what that kind of breakdown was. Is the majority of the increase just, because this is the second year of a 2-year agreement. So we're amending the agreement to make these adjustments.
Right, we're in the final year of the agreement, correct. System enhancements are $1 million, and that's for Squad 36 and additional employees for St. Pete Fire Rescue. And then, it doesn't say a total, but.
So the balance.
There's, the balance of that then is.
That would be towards.
Budget increases, which are primarily driven by labor costs, either salary or benefit.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Are we good? Okay. So we have
a motion and a second.
all those in favor, please designate by saying aye. Any opposed? Number 33.
This is issuance of a certificate of public convenience and necessity for Trans4U, a non-medical wheelchair transport service.
And moved by Commissioner Eggers, second by Commissioner Flowers. All those in favor, please designate by saying aye. Any opposed? No. Okay. And now, Madam Attorney.
Under item number 34, I recommend that you authorize litigation in the referenced matter. This is a case involving housing discrimination on the basis of disability that was investigated by your Office of Human Rights.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please designate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Number 35.
Under 35, I recommend that you approve staff's recommendation as set forth in the confidential memo.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please designate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Number 36.
Under 36, again, I recommend that you approve staff's recommendation as set forth in the confidential memo.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please designate by saying aye. Aye. Number 37.
37, also a recommendation that you approve staff's recommendation as set forth in the confidential memo.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please designate by saying aye. Aye. County Attorney reports.
I have nothing.
Okay. County Administrator report.
Commissioner, I think you had
Madam Chair, I just had a question.
Yes.
When the county receives settlement funds in a lawsuit, where does that money go?
Treasurer's fund.
It depends. I will say on some of the initial cases that related to opioids, by way of example, there were many restrictions placed upon how the funds can be used. Other times there are not restrictions imposed on the use of funds, so it's really going to vary. Again, the ones that flowed through the Attorney General were highly restricted. Others are not.
But in particular, cases that we reserve for, then we have a risk settlement fund, okay? And then that fund, those funds come into that risk reserve. Okay. And so we look, so for instance, they'll say, here's all the potential lawsuits, many of which are going to take years to resolve. And we get an actuarial report that says a reasonable amount to
So
pull
may go
for.
back into our loss funds.
Correct.
Okay? Okay. County Administrator reports.
3 items, Commissioners. One, just a reminder that traditionally, the board has picked a chair and a vice chair at the November meeting. So that's coming up. Part of the reason for saying that is I will be on vacation October 20th through 29th. So I'll make sure I put lots of controversial items on the next work session because Jill will be here and she'll be covering. So good luck. I'll be back then. And then just a reminder that Thursday night, we're going to launch the One Business Pinellas Alliance. And that's going to be an exciting thing to partner with our corporate partners to bring together business influencers to really talk about the way we move our economic development strategies forward. And then again, you're all invited, and that is at the Maritime and Defense Technology Hub. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Barry. Number 40 is the reappointments to the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee, which are voted on as a committee.
Madam
as a
Chair, I do have
commission of the
ballots.
whole. I'm sorry? Yes, I thought so. Thank you.
The board has selected Shannon Love, Tammy Hicks, Elise Minkoff, Sean King, and Francis Feeney.
Thank you. So we're done with that item then?
Yes.
Yes, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay. And on to 41. What is the wishes of the board as it relates to this slate? It's been moved and seconded. All of those in favor of appointing Jerry Reed, Chief Ian Womack, Captain Thomas Kraus, Mr. Richard Schomp, Jeremy Tinter, Captain Michael Liner, and Dr. Anthony Ottaviani to the Emergency Medical Services Board. Please designate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? And that passes unanimously. And now to the Medical Control Board. What are the wishes of the board? Okay, it's been moved to appoint Dr. Jose Bachwin, Dr. Matthew Smith, Dr. Stephen Hare, Dr. Brian Charity as the appointees to the Emergency Medical Services Control Board. All those in favor, please designate by saying aye. All those opposed? Number 43, appointments to WorkNet. Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we appoint Jeremy Robinson. All those in favor, please designate by saying aye. All those opposed? Okay, and now we are on to the County Commission new business. Barry, did you have a tri-county resolution that you wanted to bring forward under this item?
Yes, that item is attached to your agenda. This allows us to do the tri-county meeting between us and Pasco and Hillsborough County, which is slated for November the 3rd. We have to advertise it.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Eggers. Is there a second? Commissioner Scott has seconded. All those in favor, please designate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. And County Commission new business, Commissioner Scott?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, since our last meeting, I attended the Fort DeSoto Pier ribbon cutting along with Commissioners Long, Justice, and Flowers, which was very nice. I have many memories of being out there too. I'm not coming home at 4 in the morning as your sons did, but still have very good memories out there. I also toured the Palm Harbor YMCA and saw the upcoming renovations plans that we attended, I think, with Commissioner Latvella and Eggers a few months back, probably actually in the spring, sort of a groundbreaking ceremony, but they haven't actually put a shovel in the ground yet. They're kind of tied up with some permitting issues, so they're looking forward to get that going here very soon. Participated in the regional affordable housing workshop for Reason 5, which is interesting to hear what others around the state are doing for affordable housing. I attended the NACO Large Urban Caucus in Orlando, I think it was 2 weeks ago, which was kind of interesting. We had an opportunity, we had a presentation from former Senator Bill Nelson, who's now the administrator for NASA, who talked about all of the exciting things that are happening at NASA, and there's some really pretty cool things going on over there. Talked about the next mission to the moon, and then how we're going to launch from the moon to go to Mars. So pretty interesting stuff. We also toured the Orange County Jail complex, and interesting to see how Orange County does things compared to how we do it here in Pinellas County. They have their own, their jail is run by, they have their own Orange County Correctional Department that runs their jail. So just kind of interesting to see how they do it there, and they've created a central sort of receiving and processing system for Baker Act and Marshman Act people that come through, and kind of a central collection point for mental health. And by doing that, they've been able to significantly reduce their recidivism and jail population even to lower than what it is in Pinellas County. So they're having some pretty good success there with that, so it's very interesting to see how they do that. Also, we had our Sixth Circuit Juvenile Justice meeting last week where we had presentations from 4 different service providers. Attended our legislative delegation last week with all of you. And later on this afternoon, I'll be touring Foodie Labs and Ghost Kitchen in St. Pete, and also the James Museum after that, and then looking forward to Thursday night, our CEO exchange. So that's my report.
Very good. Busy little man you are. Commissioner Flowers.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much. The first thing I'd like to do is, I sincerely hope that you all received the email with a copy of the resume for Mr. Michael Fredovich so that we could go ahead and take care of his appointment to the Historic Preservation Board. So I'd like to move that Michael Fredovich be appointed to the Historic Preservation Board.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that Michael Fredovich be appointed to the Historic Preservation Board. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so done.
Thank you.
Commissioner Flowers.
The second is, I have the pleasure of serving on the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council. We had a very interesting meeting. Of course, we're planning for our annual Resiliency and Sustainability Conference, so it's going to be at the same location in Clearwater. I hope you all are able to attend.
Do you have a date for that yet?
Let me keep talking, and then I'm gonna look it up here on my notes.
Perfect.
Because, yeah, you got me in between my notes. There was a nominating committee that met and selected officers for the upcoming year. Mayor Woody Brown was the acting chair, and so he was voted on as chair for next year, and we will have the swearing in of officers at our December meeting that's going to be in Tampa at the Marine Science Center. Commissioner Maureen Freeney was the Secretary Treasurer. She will now be the Vice Chair from the City of Dunedin, and I was voted in as Secretary Treasurer for the board. And then Councilwoman Brandy Gabbard will continue to serve as the immediate past because of the former chair no longer being in office. I see we have Mr. Stephen Meyer here, and we continue to go through our merging process with CareerSource. It's not painful, but it's not painless. But I want to thank Kevin Knutson as well for also serving and representing and assisting in that process. And I'm sorry, I wasn't able to pull up the date for our resiliency conference. I'll get it before we go around, I'm sure. I did attend the Pinellas County Urban League's EOD dinner, and it was a very nice ode to the service of Watson Haynes, and the installation, or if you will, the formal installation of Nikki Gaskin Capehart, I'm sorry, as the new president and CEO for the Pinellas County Urban League. It was a sold-out event, over 480 plus individuals there. It was a very lighthearted affair, but it was really nice. We began something called the Haynes Heroes in honor of Watson, and so there were 4 individuals that were selected to be honored as Haynes Heroes through that. And that is all I have for right now. May 4th and 5th is the Resilience and Sustainability Conference.
May 4th and 5th.
May 4th and 5th, yes.
Thank
At the
you.
Hilton on Clearwater Beach. Same location. So if you are available to attend, we already have people actually calling us wanting to serve on a panel to talk about the resiliency and sustainability efforts that are going on. So we certainly encourage you to attend if you could. That's it for me.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. And then the last thing, I serve on the NACO Career Source and Workforce Development Board, and we had our meeting, and the meeting that we had really focused on some of the federal legislation that's going to be coming down regarding possible funding for skills to assist corporations who are traversing in a different direction, going more to technology and whatnot. So we talked more about those bills and in preparation for the federal fly-in, if you will, from NACO.
And so I didn't hear you say anything about FAC. Don't you want to talk about that?
Well, we do have the
What's going
conference
on
coming
with
up
them?
in November. Yeah, we
How
have
about
our,
give us the dates for that?
we have the legislative conference dates. See, I ain't have that on my thing, so I didn't have that down. Darlena, what's the dates for FAC in 15th through. Thank you, 15th through 17th, over in Tampa, and that will be just finalizing the legislative agenda that we began with the conversation that was in Seminole County. So all of the policy statements have been written. The only thing that will be coming for us then is any items that we kind of had to put off to the side because perhaps there was more information. Of course, some bills have already been filed in Tallahassee through committee weeks. So we'll be talking about those. So it'll be a comprehensive conversation around those. And that's it.
Very good. Thank you for all that info. Commissioner Justice?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Since last we met, a few things going on. Attended the Pace Center for Girls annual celebration last week, where they recognized some local heroes. Attended the Metro Health Dinner on behalf of the Commission Saturday. Toured Lift Academy in Clearwater, which if you haven't had a chance to tour that facility from where they were in Seminole to where they are in Clearwater, remarkable facility they have and the opportunity to serve now. Attended the National Night Out with the Pinellas Park Police Department, the City of Pinellas Park. Spoke to the Clearwater Rotary, spoke to the Tampa Bay Beaches Chamber Leadership Institute. Several of us were present a couple weeks ago when we welcomed officially the Turner Bungalow to Heritage Village, an exciting time for Heritage. Commissioner Scott and other, Commissioner Latvala were there. Trying to think what else. Commissioner Eggers and I spoke at the Habitat groundbreaking for the 12 new homes in Lellman, across from Rainieri Park. That's going to be an exciting spot, and appreciate Habitat's partnership there. Excited about Nikki Gaskin-Capehart's leadership. I don't think there's anyone who's prepared herself more for that role than Nikki has. A lifetime of service in Pinellas, so we're excited about seeing her. And excited about seeing Mr. Fredovich's role on the historic preservation. I know that one is, that board is a little bit different than some of the other boards because the membership of that board has to be specific categories and it has to be monitored by Tallahassee for us to maintain our certified local government status, and that's really important when we go out for grants and things like that. So I think that is it, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Latvala?
Very much, Madam Chair. Yesterday I had the privilege of being Mayor Dan Siraki's guest on his Oldsmar podcast that he hosts. That was a lot of fun. I know at least one of my colleagues is going to be a future guest. So if you need any of my answers, just let me know, and I will provide those. Last week I attended the Pace Center for Girls dinner along with Commissioner Justice. I spoke at the Sand Key Civic Association meeting. You can take a guess at what the topic was. I attended the National Night Out at Clearwater Mall with our heroes from Clearwater. And I also, along with Commissioner Justice and Scott, attended the Turner Bungalow ribbon cutting at Heritage Village. And lastly, I wanted to wish the Philadelphia Phillies best of luck in the National League Championship Series. They won the first game last night in their best-of-7 series. They call Clearwater home during the spring. And next year is a special year as it will be the 100th anniversary of spring training in the city of Clearwater. So that is my report.
Very nice. Thank you. Commissioner Eggers?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I just wanted to draw attention to October 24th. It's Honor Flight, West Coast of Florida Honor Flight. Be there at 7:45, 8 o'clock. That's when the, try to get there a little bit early, but they come in. And a gentleman that I ran into said, if you don't mind, just read a little excerpt about it, because his concern is that we're getting less and less people at the event. And so just so you all know, these veterans take a trip to Washington, D.C. and tour all the memorials. They're welcomed up there, and then they get to be welcomed here at home on their return home. It's probably the only time they ever did get a welcome home, and this is very emotional and very important to them. So if you're out there and you're interested, take your kids. It's really important that they understand it. The west coast of Florida has flown over 3,400 veterans to Washington, D.C. The next one, as I said, is October 24th, and there'll be 4 next year. But a really important event. It's a great educational opportunity for children, and it's a kind of a fun evening. A lot of music and camaraderie, and at the end of the evening, they come home and we get to say hello and welcome them back.
So David, what time did you say to be?
They said try to be there around 7:45. Plane comes in around 8:15, 8:30. But if you want to have some, if you get there a little bit early, there's a lot of music and a lot of camaraderie, and it's just a good time. So, but they should be in around 8:15 or so, 8:30. Secondly, next Monday at 10 o'clock, the Zach Shannon Memorial will be done, and it'll be a stretch that goes pretty much through Dunedin. Alt 19 in Dunedin will be renamed after Zach Shannon. It is at 10 o'clock. It is just north of Curlew on Alt 19. There's a small little park where the trail overpass is on the west side. If you're interested in going, I think it'll be a really nice event. Obviously, Hooper and Anderson led the way in getting this done, and I really wanted to thank Representative Anderson and Senator Hooper for that. But I think that'll be a really nice morning as well. I also wanted to thank Tom Washburn and the Transportation Department. We had County Road 1 dug up with a waste pipes had to be replaced, and there was some detouring that was going on through the community, and the residents were not real happy, had suggestions and thoughts, and Tom was very receptive and made a lot of adjustments. Probably after a few days, it got very quiet, and I really want to thank you, Tom, for taking that time. Residents are pretty creative and very thoughtful about trying to improve on things. So just a shout out to that department. I also wanted to say that Habitat groundbreaking event was really neat. There was 12 families that were being honored, 12 families that were going to have a home, 12 families that were going to do their, I think it's 300 hours of sweat equity. And we had 12 private companies that were also sponsoring the 12 homes. It was really a neat morning, and a lot of people were out, and Mayor of Lellman, Commissioner Justice was there. And I wanted to say thank you for all that work. And the last thing I just wanted to say, 2 things. One is that we have a charter review that's ongoing. We'll have a meeting in November, probably the early part of November. And at the November meeting, I'll kind of give you an update on where we are, the things that are being thought of or discussed. We've just been doing a lot of background work to this point. A few ideas being thrown out, but I think we'll have a little bit better sense of the early thoughts, and I'll keep you guys posted on that, or updated on that. And then I just wanted to also extend congratulations to Barry for 5 years, and there's been a lot that's happened in 5 years. And really thank you for your leadership, for the staff, and all that you guys do for the residents of Pinellas County. Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome, Commissioner Flowers. What am I saying? Commissioner Peters.
Thank you. So I missed the delegation meeting, and I was told that you wanted an update on the opioid ongoing. So the county settlement, we've been meeting, and the RFP has gone out for people to apply for anywhere from $3 million on up to address the opiate issues in Pinellas County. We'll be reviewing those and so forth the first week of December. So that, it's really going to be a first of the year. They'll be launching those projects. The state opioid meeting is scheduled for November 6th. The first meeting was several weeks ago, and it was really just an introductory meeting. They took our questions but didn't answer our questions. So I'm hopeful at this meeting on November 6th, they'll be answering our questions. So there's more clarity as to how this money can be spent, and if there's any restrictions that we've interpreted, and we're looking for. I gave them some specific questions, so I'm hoping to get some answers on the 6th. I did send out a memo that I would be out of the country as of October 20th. My travel companion was in a tragic accident, and so that trip has been postponed. So I will be at the next workshop. And then my NACO meeting is October 25th on Human Services and Education, and they're just still determining their priorities. So that's all I've got.
Very good. Thank you so much. Okay, I just have a couple of things. As you know, we had a great discussion last Friday with the delegation, and I thought that was very well received by everyone. Tomorrow, we have our TDC, Tourist Development Council meeting, where Barry is going to be presenting the current events as it relates to the raise, and Allegiant CMO will be giving a presentation as well. We're also Brian is going to give a recap of our trip to Brazil, the marketing and metrics updates, as well as a beach renourishment update. And we will be having a discussion with Roger Dow, who is the former national executive or CEO with USA America. And he's going to talk to us about some of the public-private partnerships going on across the country and what we might look forward to in the future. Barry's annual review is due tomorrow, so if you haven't gotten it in to me, please do so ASAP. And our county, you heard Barry talk about this, the cultural plan kickoff with the Business Alliance is on Thursday, and it's going to be held at the Epicenter. Yes? Oh, am I mixing Creative Pinellas with Business Alliance? Okay, I stand corrected on that. And that's all I have for today. Yes.
I'm sorry, I also forgot to announce, there will be the Women's Empowerment Expo and Showcase for Small Businesses. That will be this Saturday, October 21st, from 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock at Pinellas Technical College. It is free for persons to come in. It just allows small businesses to be able to set up their tables. Some will have items that they have available that you can purchase at that time. Others, it's just related to their business, whether it's consulting or whatever. But it's a way to really encourage women to get their businesses out. And then there will be food trucks outside, so you can certainly purchase your own food if you wanted to. And then I forgot to mention, I served on a human trafficking panel with Chief Holloway from the St. Petersburg Police Department and a trafficking survivor who had been trafficked for 4 years before she was able to get free and get herself some assistance. Her name is Elise. It was a wonderful panel. I learned a lot. If you want to hear or see any more about it, Channel 10 was there and filmed the entire thing, but you also can go on their website and pull up snippets of it. But it was just a reminder about some of the things that we kind of take for granted when it comes to seeing young people out and about late. We may just see somebody walking, not think anything of it, and then all of a sudden they're missing. And adults as well. So it's not just children who are being picked up in traffic, it's grown women as well. There was a story of a lady who was in her 30s that had been drugged and had been trafficked before she was able to get word to her family about what was going on with her and where she was, and she was rescued as well. So just wanted to throw those two out. But if you could attend or want to swing by the Women's Empowerment Expo, it should be pretty neat. This will be the 5th year that they've had it there at Pinellas Technical College in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Nice. Thank you for bringing that up, Commissioner Eggers?
Yeah, just on the honor flights, specific, the district pub will be open from 5 to 8 at the airport. So I was telling you, come early if you want. There's a lot going on, and the flight is coming in at 8:15, or estimated to be in at 8:15, and parking is free in either the short-term or long-term lots. So anyway, just wanted to add that to the. Yeah.
Did you hear what he said?
Yeah, I did. I just ignored
Okay,
him.
just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to bring up the community event fund that some of you will remember that we had. And it occurred to me a week or so ago that we just eliminated that without any conversation or forethought about why we had implemented it to begin with. And I wanted to just float the idea to see if any of you might be interested in hearing about why we put that in place to begin with and how much it has served not only the county commission, but our community as well. So I'm not advocating for anything. I'm just remembering, you probably will remember that conversation, Commissioner Justice, way back when. I don't think maybe the rest of you were here at the time, but I thought it might be meaningful for some of you to hear why we put that in place to begin with. So if you don't want to hear about it, that's fine with me too, but whatever you wish.
I don't mind hearing about it, but the only reason I did not support that was because we use that fund to do things like the Urban League dinner or Girls Inc. or PACE or PAL or whatever. You know, it allows us to be able to support them. And I understand the feeling that we could, as individual commissioners, you know, pay for it out of what your office budget is, but that's why I voted no, because I thought it was just a good way for us to continue to support the entities that we so often show up at, you know, with our presence. So, but I don't mind hearing about it.
Madam, no, that's fine with me. I certainly would like to hear about that. And something else that just came to mind, I mentioned this to Barry a week or so ago, is that I think it would be helpful for us to have a history lesson on Visit St. Pete Clearwater. You know, there was some talk about potentially privatizing that, and I was speaking with Russ Kimball about that, and he had said that originally it was, and then it changed to a county department, and I didn't know that. So I just thought probably none of us probably really know that, and it might be interesting to just kind of have a timeline and a little history lesson on how Visit St. Pete Clearwater came to be, and just, you know, how it got to where it is today and the different, you know, versions and iterations it's had through the years. Just might be helpful.
I think that would be an interesting conversation to have, Brian, and I found the way you phrased that to be quite interesting. Quite frankly, I'm not really sure where the idea of privatizing Visit St. Pete Clearwater came from, because I think it originated from a conversation that I haven't even had an opportunity to talk about or roll out or explain the reasoning why, and it's just caused a lot of kerfluffle for no real good reason. It's just an idea that I have learned through my time as chair, that a lot of other communities and places around our state and across the United States have been moving to a public-private partnership, which seems to be the new business standard model. And I thought, because in the role as chair, I had an obligation to share that with everyone. But that's just the end of my story. I've never really had an in-depth conversation with anyone on the board, or actually it was a board member that brought the idea to me, and we started a conversation. But beyond that, I haven't discussed it with, I had several discussions with Barry about it, but it's not anything I have been out and about, promoting vehemently. So I look forward to whenever we have that conversation. I think, though, I did some time ago have Tony send out to you a white paper that we had written. Tony, I'm giving him full credit for the research behind it, but it was a list of pros and cons and some recommendations about how we might move forward. But other than that, we haven't had any quote-unquote conversation.
Anytime we have tax dollars involved, it's an interesting conversation about who should control those disbursements. So, I still think the current model seems to work, but I'm certainly open to conversation. But we have control of the tax dollars, and there's a reason for that, I think. So, anyway.
I don't think anybody was ever suggesting that we wouldn't have quote-unquote control over the
Okay.
tax dollars.
That's fine.
Is that it? Okay, then I think we are adjourned. Thank you.